What's up? Welcome back to another episode of Witness Me!
Here's the thing, people have been saying Furosa is too much CG. Is it really? I don't know. We're gonna compare it to Fury Road and we're gonna find out. Also, giant lizards destroying giant cities. We're gonna go back to it again. Godzilla Minus One finally came out on Netflix. I wanna take a look at the atomic breath.
We've already looked at Godzilla Minus One with the director. That was a really fun episode, but this time the movie's now out for everyone to watch.
Oh, I love that. You can feel the freaking weight, huh? Oh, dang! Whoa!
Whoa.
All right. That's scary.
Oh, she got destroyed.
She's probably fine, though.
She just went to the farm up north.
Yeah, it was wind.
I always love seeing different people's takes on like atomic blasts. I love like the throw of like dirt and mud, turning the buildings into mud and throwing it sideways.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a great description, turning it into mud.
So they're using a lot of like animation styles here. Let's frame by frame through that laser breath here and like break down how they take a bunch of simple steps here to make it really powerful. So first you have a really nice sim on these buildings, which is not necessarily an easy thing to do. This is just, they hit you with a really fancy thing right up front. But they do time the buildings getting splattered here to go close to far. So it's boop, 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 boop,
True,
boop.
yeah.
They're adding a feeling of motion to it.
Directionality, yeah.
So that's step one of the anime tools. So then we're going to do some classic things go dark so they can get bright.
Oh, yeah.
Just like in sound design for a movie, if you want something to hit, you have to go shoo, boom. You know, this is the shoo part of it where everything goes quiet. Then we hit them with the flash. Back to the contrast, going dark. Why is it black? The camera didn't just turn off. No, it's because they're going to hit you with that bright frame next. And if they don't do the black frame first, you don't feel the impact. Because your TV can't really get that bright. Like if I take your phone screen, I just slide the brightness slider up and down, it doesn't feel like an atomic bomb going off. You know? Yeah. If I hit you with a white screen, then a black screen, then a white screen again, then you're like, whoa! Then you get blasted. And that's what they're doing here.
Yeah, let's get blasted.
When they made this movie, they had to do 610 shots in 8 months.
And how many people worked on this movie?
35 people.
Whoa!
Yeah. The director for this film is also the visual effects supervisor. Yeah. And when they're working on the film, all the artists are just sitting on a big open floor, and day to day, he's just bopping around from computer to computer to computer, talking to them as they're working on the shots. I think every director should be doing this if they're on a big film. Because if your film, for example, has 2,000 effect shots, and you're just like, well, I'm not an effects guy.
Yeah.
It's like, then you're not the director. So I think that made this film really special and gave it this cohesion that you would not expect, because this film cost only $12 million to make.
That's the craziest.
And it won the visual effects Oscar. The way they did their boat set is crazy, because that's all it is. Like, because I was always like, how are they getting the people? The people don't look like they're CG in these wide shots. And it's because they're filming the whole shot as if they're in the docks with the people there.
So what you're saying is that like that whole ground of the dock there is actually just the parking lot they filmed in? But it looks like the actual ground has been kept so you don't have to like rotoscope out their shadows.
So here's the crazy thing. I thought they had a moving set. They didn't have a moving set. They had very well made camera work where they'd figure out, okay, if the boat rocked like this and the camera was floating in the air, if the boat was sitting still, how would the camera move to get the impression of it being waves?
Okay.
It's like that.
It's like, oh!
I mean, and it looks so convincing once they have like the camera motion in there. Like you can really feel the boat rocking. Einstein's theory of relativity also applies to visual effects. For example, when they have the boat leave the harbor, is it you that's moving or is it the other thing that's
Oh, the
moving?
camera's just gonna pull away.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like this is an example of smart visual effects. Cause like,
Yeah, oh, dude, that was great right there.
this
Combine the two plates.
is a shot you could do in like 94, you know?
Yeah.
It might be a bit of a pain to rotoscope people's heads, but this is a shot you could do on your mom's computer.
I love it.
And it looks great. Looks perfect.
I love it.
This video is brought to you by Manscaped, which is perfect because I could really use a trim. It works around those sensitive areas really well.
Sam, I haven't been using that for my face.
Manscaped has mastered the art of superior men's grooming products and hygiene tools, not for your face, but for your family jewels. With the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, they've taken grooming precision to a whole new level with their next-gen dual skin-safe blade heads, now accompanied by an upgraded trimmer blade and interchangeable foil blades for an enhanced performance. Start your trimming session using the trimmer blade, and then easily pop it off and attach the foil blade to get down to skin level, which is designed to leave you with a finish that's irresistibly sleek and utterly bare. You want to hear something crazy? They put a dual temperature LED on the front of this thing, so no matter what your skin tone is, you can always find a flattering color to complement your skin tone. And don't forget, they got a rechargeable lithium-ion battery, travel lock for seamless portability, and USB-C charging. There's also a comprehensive 3-level battery life indicator, so you never run out of batteries. In case you are gonna get wet, don't worry, this thing is waterproof, so you can basically use it anywhere. Say goodbye to those bothersome nose hairs with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra Kit, which comes complete with the Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer. It's waterproof, it's cordless, it's rechargeable, it's everything you want in a nose trimmer. All right, so you're freshly trimmed, but we're just getting started. Because you see, with the Crop Soother and Crop Preserver creams, this dynamic pair is perfectly crafted to keep you feeling cool and comfortable from morning to night. And don't forget, when you purchase the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, you'll receive 2 free gifts. That's right, it's Christmas. You got the Boxers 2.0. They're not regular boxers, they're designed for ultimate comfort and style, unlike its competition, just regular boxers. And also, the second gift, we got the Shed 2.0. It basically is a place to keep all your grooming gear organized and ready to roll. Head over to manscaped.com and use the discount code Corridor for 20% off. And also, free shipping, and also 2 free gifts. It's a pretty good deal. Thanks to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. I'm gonna give it a second shot.
These guys drive me a little nuts.
They should have known better.
What are you doing, dude? Go home. He's just mashing the potatoes of the city, and you're just taking pics.
I love this little rocking platform they have. They use it for the rooftop. They also use it for the boat decks.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a shot.
One other thing that really caught my eye in this film is the symmetry on Godzilla. So Godzilla is super highly detailed. Like, we're talking hundreds of millions of polygons and displacement maps all over the place. And to do something like that, it's, you have a sculptor basically on a computer going in and just inch by inch along that surface, just sculpt, 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 sculpt. The thing is, you have to do that for the entire character, unless you just do it for half the character and have a mirror line down the middle and mirror it to the other side. And I noticed there's a lot of symmetry in Godzilla's model, and they probably just decided to approach it that way and let it be a bit of the design aesthetic. And people probably don't really notice, but I could really get the sense that there's a lot of detail and it's a lot of model to do to make it not match. And so they're just like, screw it, let's just symmetry it down the middle.
Normally, I feel like, when I look at crazy stuff like Avatar, for example, I just go, oh, they have an army of workhorse computers that can brute force render anything that they could possibly need. But then it's like 35 people. 8 months. Okay, they're clearly being very clever. So if you have a model that is hundreds of millions of polygons, how do you render that? Like, what tricks can you possibly use to bring down that?
Usually the process here, when you get a super high resolution model of something, it's all baked into the actual geometry. So what you end up doing is you actually end up rendering out texture maps that takes into account all of that incredible detail that you sculpted into the thing, but then you actually apply it to a much lower resolution model. So the skin of Godzilla could be actually relatively smooth and therefore low polygon, but it's the textures that give it all the detail, and the textures are directly derived from the high-res sculpting.
If you guys ever find yourselves in Japan, watch a Godzilla movie while you're in Japan. It's a different experience than watching it when you're not there.
I did watch Captain Phillips on a cruise going by Somalia, and that was exciting, because you look out the window and you're like, they might be there. You don't know.
If you enjoy this show and would like to watch extended versions of it, or watch all of our videos without ads, or join us for live streams of the Corridor podcast, or get early releases, or a whole bunch of other stuff, check out corridordigital.com. It's the best way to support us in what we're doing here at Corridor.
But if not, subscribe. That's free.
So there's this one moment here. It's the beginning of a dream sequence. And it might be a flawless shot from Bear.
Okay. Okay. Oh.
We got a comp?
Oh.
Oh, we certainly do.
Wait.
That is lovely.
Wait. Is that a comp?
That
Comp
is,
implying footage that's been comped in?
That is a hue shifted sand? Is it? To match the asphalt?
Or is it just a water sim that was placed on top of the street?
That's a great transition.
It's like one of those things where you're looking like, what am I looking at? Because you can't immediately pick out how it was done.
There's just like 4 PAs with buckets of soap and water.
Is that a practical effect on the street? No, it's impossible.
Because it literally recedes.
But it's like there's sand around the back tire of the car. And like the reflection, like, you know, like sand, as the water seeps into it, the reflection changes on the surface.
Yeah.
They're doing that.
You're getting that.
It feels like it has to be real beach that they filmed, and they're like somehow compositing it together, but you're right. And if it's a composite shot, the easiest way to do this would be to film the car on the beach. It's kind of gray on the beach. You can match it to the gray on the road, do some basic color transfer overlays, and you got something. The crazy part is the camera's pushing forwards on the car the same way it's pushing forwards with Bill Hader, which would be a separate time and a separate place.
It's probably just moving at a very specific, like 1.8 miles an hour, and they just replicated that at a beach.
Yeah.
And with the camera pointed forward the whole time, and so it's tracked into the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got that same change, you maybe stabilize it a little bit.
It's matched almost flawlessly.
How awesome. What a great little find.
This is a fun one. This is like one of those where you're just like, wait, what? If you guys have any theories of your own, leave a comment down below. Or maybe if you actually worked on this shot, tell us how it was done.
Break the NDA.
And hey, if you have any other little magic gems from shows, not huge sequences, but one shot that like caught you off guard and blew your mind, please let us know in the comments below. Let's do an episode about those.
Well, speaking of perfect compositing of elements captured in camera, there was no greater illustration of this than Mad Max Fury Road.
Dude, that movie was done entirely practical.
Yeah, no
they did it
visual
all
effects.
for real.
Yeah, I recently saw Furosa. Love it. But I started noticing this sentiment online that the visual effects weren't good.
When I saw the trailer, like it felt really CG to me. But the movie was not at all like that.
The movie was not at all like that. But it did get me thinking. I'm like, I'd love to compare Fury Road to Furosa, 1-to-1, and see if anything really did change. It feels weirdly possible. It feels super gritty and very grounded. What a sick freaking, these vehicle designs too.
So obviously a lot of CG takeovers there.
Yeah.
Gosh, the weight of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's an example of a shot where all the cars were added.
Yeah, everything's added around the actual explosion.
Yeah, because in the original plate photography, they did explode that truck. And they actually launched the cab, and that was all very real. But they did additional plate photography of all the other vehicles in kind of this mob and simply composited them all together. But again, like you see some of the compositing issues on the right side of the screen. Keep your eyes on the fire on the right side. Once it lands on the ground, then you really see it.
Yeah, yeah.
You see it shifting up.
Oh yeah, you can see it sliding a little bit right there.
Yeah.
But of course it doesn't matter because no one's looking at that except
No one's
for us.
looking at that. No one's looking at that. The entire sentiment around this film were people saying, oh my gosh, it was incredible. There was no to low CGI use. Like, this is what cinema should be, and it's total bullcrap. There's 2,000 visual effects shots throughout this film. I think there's 2,700 in Furosa. It's not that different. And Furiosa's 30 minutes longer. So it's really quite similar. It's just their approaches that we kind of see in Furiosa.
It definitely feels like a little shinier.
Yeah.
Oh, this scene is so
Smoother,
cool,
dude.
though.
It's smoother.
I love this scene.
It is such a cool takeover
I
there.
was so amped up in the theater when this part happened. I was like, yeah! The actual movie making is top notch. And so who cares?
Yeah, because that's the
CG
thing
or
is
not.
like it is undeniably more CG visually, but it doesn't bother me personally.
Same.
Because of the storytelling.
It just feels way less gritty and tangible than Fury Road. Like Fury Road had detail in every single panel of every single car.
But the stunts are still like real. It's kind of like John Wick in that sense, where you're still getting a lot of really good physical performance.
My main gripe, literally one of the first things I said was that like it seems very smooth. There's just a lack of grunge across everything. The color's less saturated, the grade is less intense, the explosions look a little bit more normal. Yeah, here, like, there's rust.
Yeah.
You know?
There's the dust all
The
over
rust,
everything.
crust, and dust
Rust,
combo.
crust, and dust, yeah.
When you see them side by side, I do personally much prefer the grit of Fury Road to the cleaner version seen in Furiosa.
You're right, Furosa, like, it's really VFX-y. And like that feeling I had when I watched the trailer, it's 100% here. It's very VFX-y. But like, God, the movie was so good.
But that really is a beautiful real life illustration for both of us of the power of a good film. Like, we talk about bad visual effects and good visual effects all the time on the show, obviously. The bad visual effects is only egregious when the story isn't supported by it.
Or if they distract you, if they really
Or if they distract you, which these honestly sometimes do. But stylistically, like, given how wacky and wild this world is, I found myself forgiving it more easily. Because the lighting is the biggest element between these two things. Like, you have that harsh, directional sunlight for all of Mad Max Fury Road that really makes it feel grounded and gritty. And then for a lot of Furiosa, you have much softer, almost studio lighting.
You can tell like the shadows are soft. Like his beard shadow on his chest is a little bit soft. It feels like the background is filmed real, and then Chris Hemsworth is filmed separately and comped in.
Yeah.
And that softer lighting is usually like a telltale sign that like, oh, this was filmed on a screen and keyed out because they're trying to replicate the sun with physical lights.
And then I also wanted to look at the surrealist aspects of both films, because obviously it's the same creative mind that's behind both of these things. And while Fury Road is super grounded and gritty, there is a scene in particular where they enter a storm. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And that is like completely removed from the real world entirely.
People always forget about that entire sequence when they're like, yeah, the whole movie was practical. It's like, what about this? And like, oh, well, not that.
What about the Nambian tornadoes? Wow. Oh, this is so fun.
This is pretty cool, though.
It's just
Pretty
a cool
crazy.
visual, dude.
Yeah, like the way that explosion pops and like the fire gets sucked away, it's really well done.
They did a great job matching the fire, too. But fun fact, those bodies that are flying in the air, obviously full CG guys.
Obviously.
But yeah, I know they're real bodies. It's not the 80s anymore. They simulated those bodies in Endorphin.
Really?
Which is the same software used for Grand Theft Auto ragdoll bodies. So we've got that surrealism. And Furiosa has a similar-ish surrealist scene. Yeah, like with the sky replacement and stuff.
Yeah. It's a very artificial sky, and like there's sunlight coming from a different direction than the light from the sky.
No, it's cool. It's like, I think this just kind of further drives the point that they are very different stylistic films.
Fury Road is a very special film, and like there will never be another film like it. Furiosa is a very good movie made by the same guy that made Fury Road. It's not an art film like Fury Road. In fact, I think it's a bit of a better movie than Fury Road.
I would agree.
But it's not quite as special in a way as Fury Road.
It makes me so sad that this didn't do well in the box office.
We're at a point now where people can watch whatever they want for their exact tastes, and I think we're seeing the real size of audiences for these things. Like, an audience who's into a crazy 3-hour-long, like, post-apocalyptic car battle movie it's not a huge audience at the end of the day. It's not a small audience, but it's not like the same size of an audience that would watch Titanic. Movies are changing every year with like the technology, and music's changing every year with the technology. Glad books are still just keeping it real, you know? Just like rolling along with the words. That's it. Put them in a new order.
Yeah.